should say, hey y'all, because my guest today is from Austin, Texas, one of my favorite cities in the United States for sure, with my favorite people. Today I have on the show Megan Tull. She is the CEO and founder of Silver Lining Concepts. It's an entrepreneur success she's an entrepreneur success strategist and leadership development trainer. She's an international speaker, and she is the author of this best-selling book, The Passion Belief Method: Own Your Value and Earn Your Worth in Business. She mentors all kinds of different people. She runs leadership retreats, and she is just an inspiration to entrepreneurs everywhere. Welcome, Megan. Thank you so much for being with us today. I also want to say Megan is so much more than just what I just said. She's a wife, a mom. She owns 2 companies. And from what I know, Megan has gone through so many different transitions in her life. And the reason why I have her here today is because I've seen these beautiful shifts in her life and her really unique ability to pivot when life gets the best of her. I do want to talk about those things today, Megan, and just inspire other people that no matter what they're going through, there's a way to get through it. And yeah, just love to hear from you. Go ahead, tell us something.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, Rebecca. It's so good to see you, and glad to share today. So yeah, I mean, I think as a business owner, we all, go through different challenges and have to face a lot of obstacles. I personally had a lot of challenging times. When I was 30, I was a widow, became a single mom at that time, and my son was 2.5 years old, and was a single mom for 9.5 years. And that's actually when I decided to start my home-based business, so I could be there for my son, because my position that I had with a company, I had to travel a ton and I wasn't able to be there for him. So I made the decision to just up and quit so I could really make him my priority. And so he was my big why. And even though it was scary, even though everyone around me thought I was crazy for giving up my so-called security with that job, I just knew in my heart of hearts it was the right thing to do. So, having that strong why, that driving force that motivates you and inspires you to get up every day and to kind of do the things that aren't so easy to do is certainly important and key. And that's kind of what kept me going. Now, that first 6 months with my business, Rebecca, I made $0, but it was really odd because I kept pushing forward. I kept I knew that I was going to be able to make it work. Now, I did decide to get the help that I needed, because the big challenge for me at that time was learning how to do online marketing. And that was about 18 years ago. And so that was a big learning curve. I always did face-to-face marketing, and was very comfortable in selling, but that was a whole new ballgame for me. So I ended up getting the help that I needed, and that's key. When you have something new that you're doing and you're attempting to figure everything out on your own, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be frustrating. And then I found myself, attempting to stay on track and reach my financial goals. And so I had actually tripled my income that second 6 months. So that was pretty huge. I'm like, this entrepreneur thing is pretty awesome. But then I found myself in a trap of kind of following what everybody else was doing. And it worked to an extent, but then I found myself like, I wasn't able to get the same results that these other so-called, marketing gurus were getting.
Their method.
Yeah. And so I'm like, what's going on? Like, I always saw myself as a, competent person. I'm super confident. And I'm like, if they could do it, I could do it too, kind of thing. Yeah. But what I realized, and I think one of the biggest pivots I've ever had and shifts I've ever had in my life or my business, was realizing that doing all the things that you feel like you need to do
Hmm.
is going to keep you stuck, going to keep you playing small.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's like, I was at a really low point in my life when I actually took some time for self-reflection to get really crystal clear on what I wanted. And that's when I realized you're doing all the things you feel like you need to do and
Hmm.
following what everybody else is doing. Like, what do you truly want?
Yeah.
And for me, Rebecca, that's what, like, where everything shifted. I'm like, I'm perfectly capable. I have tons of value to offer. How can I use my gifts in the most impactful way? And that's when I started getting clear on, okay, who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve them? You know, what does my future look like? And it wasn't only just professional, it was also personal too, because I had been through a slew of horrible, unhealthy relationships at that point. And so I just decided what I wanted and wasn't willing to settle anymore. And that clarity of purpose, you know, really is what shifted everything. And now I get to do what I love. I work with mostly women entrepreneurs and helping them to redesign their business to reflect their true self, to really become expert online authorities, you know, package their expertise into high-end programs so they can make a bigger impact,
Yeah.
make
You're
more money,
overall
have more fun, all that
empowering
stuff.
them, right, to do all the things that they want to do. And I feel like if I back up a minute, what you said about uh, when you were just transitioning, like right after your husband had passed away, and you had your son, I'm wondering, like, what is that thing? What is that thing that, you know, sets you apart from other people who go through something similar and don't see the success you saw? Like, I personally think it's a huge belief in you, in yourself, and also like this, the why. Obviously, the why is so huge. But I also think, like, you saw a goal, you saw a future that could be different depending on what your actions were presently, right?
Absolutely. So when we find ourselves, you know, in a negative space, you know, obviously losing my husband, we were together for most of my life at that time because we were high school sweethearts. And I mean, it was just very traumatizing. And as you can imagine, you know, your whole world turns upside down. But for me, it was like, okay, I have to be strong for my son. So
Right.
I can't be a victim. And so, I mean, I think it was like 2 weeks after he had passed away, I was like doing trainings for 100 people again with my job. And so just kind of put that game face on. But I mean, everybody has to deal through grief or loss or challenges their own way. But it's about, you know, recognizing that the sooner you can move on and you know, get out of that and start focusing on what you do want and not keeping your current situation keeping you stuck. So
Yeah.
it's about picking yourself, brushing yourself off, and moving forward. And so I think, you know, really having that determination to always be or do something more, like we have that. I really believe everybody has it within us. A lot of times women, yeah, women have their passion or dreams or desires lying dormant within them because they're doing everything for everybody else. But, you know, if you are clear on what you want, or if you're not, you should take some time to get clarity around what it is that truly makes you happy and what are you passionate about and what are the gifts that you were born with that now you can be of service with. Because when you're operating from that space, that's when you're going to be the most fulfilled. That's when you're going to make the biggest impact in this world. And I really believe that your results cannot exceed your expectations.
Right.
So it has to start here first. You have to see yourself as being successful,
Absolutely.
perceive yourself as that identity, right?
Yeah.
And you have to see it first before you can actually then start making decisions and
Make it
taking
happen.
actions to lead you to that
Yeah.
place.
So in all of the adversities that you've been through, both personal that we've been talking about, but also in business, because you've shifted, you've had a few different businesses.
Yep.
Would you say that you incorporated fun into the growth of your business? And if so, how did you do that? So for one, I know you do the leadership retreats. Mm-hmm. So tell me about fun being a really important part when you're working with other people, fun being important when people are growing a business. Like what importance does that element play when you're moving forward? Like, just is it serious about making money and I have to do this and I have to do this or my son is going to this and we just get and serious?
Yep.
I personally believe as CFO, Chief Fun Officer, that you wouldn't achieve the same things than if you actually incorporate the fun. So tell me how you incorporate fun into your business and how you incorporate fun into your life.
I love that question because fun is actually one of my core values.
Yay, me too.
Yeah, because, if it's not fun, why do it? Exactly. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yeah. But yes, when you're in the trenches of your business and you're working in your business so hard, you can often get lost in those day-to-day tasks in the, the minutia of running a business. So you have to step back and remind yourself, like, why did I get started in business in the first place? Usually it's because of something positive, right? And so, to reconnect back to your why or reconnect back to your passion kind of helps you put things in perspective. But then, like, I'm always thinking about, like, how can I add more fun into my business and make it more fun for my clients? Because at the end of the day, like when you're working as a coach or consultant and you're guiding somebody through a process, it's easy for them to fall off track or not be motivated or, motivation. They're making a lot of change and transformation, right? So how can you make it fun and how can you, I always like to look at how can I gamify things and kind of make it more fun through the process or delivery of the work that I do. But then for me, Rebecca, you know this, my family.
Yeah, go ahead.
My family is all about fun and we love to do fun things together and be goofy and just not be so serious.
Yeah.
And so, so fun is, I think, such a huge part of life. And if we're not having fun, we're really missing out because, at the end of the day, it's not all that serious.
Right.
We're going to make mistakes and it's important to laugh at ourselves and roll with the punches and just kind of keep moving forward. But I think, Rebecca, too, is when we get older and we start not giving a damn about what people think so much, I think we can lighten up a little bit and just often too just be ourselves, be more authentic and genuine, be more vulnerable and really just show up as our true selves and have fun. But I think sometimes, when we're in a place in our career where we're attempting to prove ourselves or working really hard, sometimes we forget to have fun.
Yeah, we get caught up in adulting or parenting.
Yes.
We forget that we have a childlike nature in us too.
Mm-hmm.
But also to shift a little bit, you said, when you were first coming out of that difficult time in your personal life, the first thing you did was you invested in someone to help you get to where you wanted to go. So my idea of fun is not frivolous fun like jumping from a plane, but rather investing in yourself. Would you say you could look back at that now, and even though it was a financial investment into yourself, which typically people get stressed out about, would you say there was an element of fun doing that, making that investment, committing to yourself? Describe that feeling that you had moving forward with a coach and somebody that was supporting you.
Yes. And honestly, you're giving me a little too much credit because there was a time where I felt like I could do it myself.
Right.
And that's why I struggled for so long.
Yep.
And then I'm like, you know what? Why am I doing this myself? And it's taking so much more time. And ultimately, more money attempting to figure it out on my own. So when I got smart and I did invest in myself
Yep.
and got a coach and mentor, which I have had now, for the last 17 years, different coaches for different things throughout my business career. But yeah, I mean, I love learning. I love growing. I love becoming the best version of myself constantly. And we can't do that on our own. It's so important to find coaches and mentors that, kind of have been where we want to go,
Yeah.
and have them guide us on that path. And it is so freeing because it does help you save so much time and money and energy.
Yeah.
So then ultimately, I think, Rebecca, if we're like living our purpose, we're actually being of service with our gifts. We're shining our light. We're doing what we're meant to do, like working in I call it our brilliance.
Yeah.
And we're doing the things that we should be doing. And a lot of times, until you get some guidance and direction on that, we are not necessarily operating from the level of a CEO in our business, and we're kind of doing everything and wearing all hats and spreading ourselves thin, and not necessarily running our business the right way. So if you can learn how, because most of us have talents and skills, things that we're really good at, but most of us didn't, come with the knowledge of how to actually run a successful business.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's not often something we learn in school, I guess, unless you
study it.
Go to school for that. But even so, it's all about experience, right?
Yeah.
And getting out there and doing it. That's how you learn.
Absolutely.
But then having those coaches and mentors to kind of guide you through the process and shorten your learning curve. So that's huge.
Yeah. And I know that in your workshops that you give, when you do public speaking, similar to what I do is incorporate that fun right into your public speaking message. So people are having fun right there. They're engaged. They're learning about entrepreneurship. They're learning about the passion belief method. But they're also just having fun, and they don't realize maybe that they're learning so much, which is the best way to teach kids and adults, right?
Yes.
Like I love incorporating, a surprise for people that something they're not expecting that's going to make them smile. I've done that in my business for a long time. Just people that are working for me, just, send them a card, different things like that, that are going to make all the difference in communication between, two people or between the entire businesses, different things like that. And also I love, obviously I love travel and incorporating, those environments that push people out of their comfort zone. Now I go to the extreme. I like to, take people to Africa and really push them out of their extreme so that they can learn a completely different side of themselves. And I think that you'd agree that sometimes when we get out of that comfort zone, or we change our environment, which is hard to do right now when we're all working from home. But when we do that, we open a whole new creative world to ourselves. We open, I feel like, a pathway to the gifts and talents that you were talking about earlier that are sometimes just layered like an onion in all these other things we're either caught up in, or because it comes so naturally to us, we don't know those are our gifts and talents. And I think that's where the retreats that you and I run are really important. They're fun, but they really challenge people to take a really deep look at who they are, what they want to do, and how they're going to reach those goals.
Yeah, I mean, as women business professionals in general, I mean, we often have negative beliefs or limitations in our beliefs around who we are. Either we, adopted them at an early age, or, through different experiences, we've gotten these negative beliefs. Am I good enough? Am I worth it? And we're constantly comparing ourselves to everybody else. Social media certainly doesn't help with that, right? But yeah, I mean, just really letting people know that, they are unique. They have an amazing, unique value to share, which comes from your God-given gifts and talents. It comes from your experiences in your life, your education, your characteristics as a person, your values as a person. So there's no two people alike. And if we can celebrate that and recognize that in each other, but then also, you know, when we come in as coaches or mentors, like challenge them to step it up. Like, you have these amazing gifts. Now it's your responsibility to get out there and be of service. Who cares if it's scary? Because it's not about you. It's about the people you're meant to share and be of service to. And so that I think is so fun when you can celebrate that person and recognize something in them that they don't necessarily see, like you said, because they're so close to it, they don't think it's anything special. So, you know, when you can get a group of people together and create that safe space and that camaraderie and that support and that love, so many cool things can happen, because then they start believing in themselves because other people are telling them, you know, how special they are and talented and gifted. And that helps to kind of build that confidence, right? And get them to stand in their power. And I think that's one of the biggest frustrations that I see is, you know, that most women they truly don't understand the value that they offer. So they don't have the confidence to present themselves in a powerful way, or ask for what they want, or they certainly don't charge what they're worth. Or, you know, if they're working for a company, they don't ask for what they're worth. So, you know, it's really, really important to kind of start there and having them reveal or uncover, like, what is their unique value, what makes them special, and being able to, you know, celebrate that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what you would say, because we come across a lot of these very influential women who are in leadership positions in companies and businesses. And they're stressed out. You know, there's got a lot on their plate, a lot of responsibility. How would you say you as a coach would teach them how to have fun in their current leadership position? So we're not talking about quitting their job or, you know, changing their entire life, but how would you express to them or teach them how to have a little bit more fun with what they're already doing? And I like to believe that that's going to produce better outcomes for them if they're doing it with a different mindset. So what would you say?
Absolutely. So I see this all the time in corporate America with women executives that are afraid to shine their light, and they're kind of put into this box because they're afraid if they voice their opinion or kind of have a new idea that's maybe way different than what the company's currently doing, they're afraid that, you know, that idea is going to get poo-pooed, or, you know, just they're going to be seen as, you know, incompetent, or so they're afraid to really share their expertise and really, you know, be fully themselves. And they're definitely afraid to be vulnerable. So they put on this, you know, strong face and are, you know, super confident. And women, the translation with women and confidence in corporate America is often perceived as being a bitch.
I was totally just going to say that. Yeah, because and that's what we've been told, right? Like
but guys that are confident, you know, they're leaders, and it's, you know, so I think there's this stigma around that, but it's because women are afraid to be feminine. Women are afraid to be themselves because they're in this man's world in corporate America. So, but what I've seen is when you do fully own your value and you operate from that space of being of service and really just putting it out there. And, you know, when you own your value and move forward in confidence, that is more of like an energetic presence versus putting on this confident, you know, face or mask, which then can appear false or you know, like I said, you know, the B word, but yeah, when you're truly just being yourself and operating in your space of brilliance, that is going to be like a magnet to other people, and other people are going to see that and see you as the leader that you are. but when it comes, so that's more fun when you can just be yourself at work, right?
Oh man.
But then also like taking the opportunity to get to know your coworkers, and taking the lead on that. And maybe you take some time to meet them individually and find out what they're passionate about, what they like to do, or maybe you organize, once we get through this crazy COVID thing, you could organize some, opportunities for everyone to get together, to get to know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's when it becomes more fun, when you can operate from that space of community and everybody's kind of on the same page and working towards the same goal. And I think it comes from the top with the leadership of the company, making sure everybody is in alignment with the mission of the company, and that everyone is recognized as an integral part of that team and the development of the company moving forward.
Yeah. And that takes time. That's what I'm doing, is working with companies to kind of redesign everything, because sometimes the problem actually lies with the person at the top. The problem can often lie with that CEO. And if it's a female and she's so driven to get things done and doesn't, see the value in the fun of the community that you just said in the corporation, then she's not having fun. Nobody's having fun. This is where we get turnover all the time, right? And we're losing money. So I think, that's what I'm passionate about, is going in and kind of restructuring how they work together. And I think working with mindset, because those women need to understand that if they have fun, that doesn't mean they're weak.
Right.
In fact, it strengthens them. It makes them more human. And people want to be around real people. I think authenticity is like the new fad, but a good one is like, okay, now we can get real with each other, and once a company can embrace that as a change, you definitely start to see huge outcomes. And that's when your profits go up. If that's the kind of byproduct, right? That ends up being the byproduct. But in the meantime, you get healthy relationships, you get that community feeling, and everyone's having fun. Company, or aligning themselves with another a charity that they're passionate about, which is something that I really highly value for companies to do. Because then your employees want to be there and they know what they're working towards. So lots of stuff there for sure.
So much. So couple things that I want to share that have come up from what you just said. One of the huge challenges in business for years, like working with corporate companies, I've done a lot of training in corporate companies over the years. And the biggest challenge is communication. People don't feel comfortable speaking their mind. And it's often because of leadership, they feel like they can't even share without getting reprimanded or, just not being heard. And so, when you can open those lines of communication and really encourage people to share what's on their mind, that's super healthy, right? But then another thing that came up is, always making sure as individuals that we as either business owners or employees or team members or parents, that we are making sure that we are keeping our cup full. And really making sure we have time for ourselves. So whether it's exercising or, doing your hobby or passion or something that really fills your soul, that is huge, because if we are giving, which most of us often find ourselves doing, and then we're depleted and we have nothing to give, what good is that? So it's so important to recognize, making time for yourself and giving yourself a little self-love, and, whatever it is for you, the workout or massage or bath at night or whatever, then you can fill your cup and really then give your full self to everybody in your life. And women think that they feel guilty doing that. Or they feel selfish doing that. But it's crucial, right? Because if we have nothing to give anymore because we've depleted ourselves, then we're not going to be able to be a good parent or a good friend or a good spouse or coworker.
Employee.
Right?
Because imagine a CEO had those values or started being taught those values, and then and then allowed their employees to voice their opinion, gave them more responsibility, encouraged these kind of self-care practices, how much more those employees are going to want to be in the workplace 9 to 5. They're not going to have to quit to become an entrepreneur, because as we talked about at the beginning of the conversation, not everyone can just be an entrepreneur. It's not innate for a lot of people, the business mind. So yeah, my biggest goal is to, go back to the root of the problem. The 9 to 5, if that's the root of the problem, then let's fix the 9 to 5, which some companies have successfully done. But I think there's a huge need out there for a lot more, and you're right. The communication, I always think, it's because Susie and Jane from sales and HR don't get along, and therefore something's not working, and the company loses money because maybe it's a personal thing, right? Lots of different things it could be.
Yeah.
I have to wrap up, but I have to do my fast round questions. So I'm going to throw some questions at you. You got 2 minutes to answer them to the best of your ability.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
You are on a game show. No, we're gamifying. Okay. So what's the best meal you've ever had?
Oh, wow. Vespaio is the restaurant in Austin, Texas, and it's the butternut squash ravioli.
Ooh, that sounds yummy. Okay. When's the last time you had a belly laugh, and why?
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Wow. That's not good that it's taking so long for me to think.
I know. Everyone gets stumped on this one. I'm like, y'all hang out with me more. We'll belly laugh.
Well, okay. This is not like that big, but my cat, Quincy, yesterday was going nuts, jumping all over the furniture and trying to get this bug. And he was meowing and going absolutely nuts. And I was laughing my head off. So
that's good.
Good.
What did you want to be when you were 10 years old?
Oh, I wanted to be a professional makeup artist.
Oh, and you did that for a while.
I did that for a little bit, yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's amazing. That's great. Who was your favorite teacher and why?
Oh my gosh, that's easy. Nelda Corbett. She was my fashion show production teacher in college because I went to school at a fashion school. Yep. And she was just so dynamic and cool, and I want to be like her. Actually, she's the one who got me into the makeup because she, on the side, was a makeup artist. So I started assisting her, and that's when I started my makeup business. But
okay, what was your epic makeup fail? Have you ever had an epic makeup fail where it was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Did you like lose an eyebrow or something? Or anything?
Oh gosh, thank God I haven't done that on an actual customer. But honestly, it was, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, do it.
My daughter wanted her eyebrows done. And I mean, I've done tons of eyebrows my whole career, as doing makeup and skincare. Yeah. And so she normally likes them a little bit thicker, and the wax that I was using was old and not great. Not that I'm making excuses, and the fact I can't see as good close up anymore. And I ripped off some of her eyebrow, and oh my gosh, the whole world was crashing down around us because she just stormed off crying, and I felt like this big and horrible.
This is your stepdaughter.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, had to get over that one. That wasn't easy, but they're all grown in again, and it's all good. But I don't know if she'll ask me to do her eyebrows anymore.
Okay, last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, I would love to be remembered for helping people, being of service, donating my time, connecting people, just somebody who was always there to help.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much. Our guest today is Megan Tull. She's the CEO and founder of Silver Lining Concepts. It's been really amazing to chat with you today. And can you just tell my audience where to find you, where they can find this book if they're interested in the Passion Belief Method and learning more about business or your retreats? where's the best place to locate?
Yeah, so the book you can get on Amazon or in any bookstore, Barnes and Noble and whatnot. My website is megantull.com. And I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook group for women entrepreneurs that are living their passion and purpose called Passionista Nation.
Perfect.
So yeah, and I'm all over the internet. You can just look up Megan Tull and probably find me in loads of places.
And the spelling, I don't know if it's backwards, but the spelling is MEGANTULL. So megantull.com. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca.